That night I thought sleep would bring me peace, but instead it brought the most unsettling touch I've ever felt. A breath on my neck, fingers tracing my skin. What happened next changed me forever. It was late, far past midnight, when I finally let my tired body collapse into bed. The silence of the house was comforting at first, a soft lull that wrapped around me as I pulled the blanket halfway across my legs. The glow from the street lamp filtered faintly through the curtains, painting pale streaks of light on the wall. I remember shifting onto my side, one knee bent, my arm tucked under the pillow. My breathing slowed, my mind drifting towards sleep. But then, something shifted. At first it was subtle, an awareness that I wasn't alone. The air felt heavier, pressing down against my chest in a way that made every inhale harder than the last. My skin prickled, and the back of my neck tingled, as though unseen eyes were fixed on me. I told myself it was just exhaustion, maybe the edge of a dream, but deep down, I knew. I wasn't imagining it. The first touch came gently, like a whisper against my thigh. I froze. The blanket should have shielded me, but I could feel it. Cool, deliberate fingers tracing the curve of my leg. My pulse spiked, and every muscle tensed. Still, I didn't move. Some part of me didn't dare. The presence lingered there, testing me. The touch slid upward, unhurried, pausing just at the hem of my shorts. My breath caught. Fear and something else, something I didn't want to name, twisted inside me. The air felt charged, alive, as if the walls themselves were listening. I tried to steady my thoughts, telling myself it was just the weight of the blanket, a trick of the nerves. But then I felt it again, not just a touch this time, but the faint dip of the mattress, the shift of weight beside me. Someone or something was there. A warmth brushed against my shoulder. Not quite a hand, not quite air, but undeniable. It moved slowly, carefully, as though savoring the reaction it pulled from me. My breaths turned shallow, uneven, and I gripped the pillow tighter beneath my hand. The scent came next, subtle at first, earthy and sweet, almost intoxicating. It filled my lungs, dizzying me, making the room spin even though I hadn't moved. It wasn't perfume. It wasn't anything human. And then came the moment that shattered any illusion of safety. Strands of my hair shifted, not from my breath, not from the night breeze, but from fingers combing through them, separating, gathering, stroking with an almost reverent care. My scalp tingled, my body stiffened, yet a flush of warmth spread through me that I couldn't deny. I didn't open my eyes. I couldn't. But in the silence, in the press of the unseen hand against my skin, I knew this was only the beginning, and that the night was far from over. The weight beside me grew heavier, pressing into the mattress with a slow, deliberate rhythm. I could feel the indentation moving closer, inch by inch, until the warmth of it seeped into my body. My breaths came shallow, uneven, each inhale shaking as though my lungs couldn't decide whether to resist or surrender. And then it touched me again. This time the fingers were more certain, gliding from my hip across my stomach, light at first, then firmer, as though mapping the outline of my body. My skin burned under the invisible caress, every nerve alive with the contradiction of fear and something dangerously close to desire. I told myself to move, to break free, but I didn't. I couldn't. The air thickened, carrying that same intoxicating scent, earthy, sweet, metallic at the edges. Each breath drew it deeper into me, clouding my thoughts, weakening my resolve. My body betrayed me, arching slightly toward the touch, leaning into what my mind screamed to avoid. A warm exhale brushed against my neck. My hair stirred again, and then fingers threaded through it, tugging gently, almost tenderly. The gesture was possessive, intimate, and unbearably human. My pulse thundered in my ears, and for a moment I thought I heard a sound, low, satisfied, humming from somewhere just above me. I clenched the pillow tighter, nails digging into the fabric, but the sensation only deepened. The hand slid lower, tracing the line of my thigh, pausing, then continuing with unhurried precision. Every inch of movement was deliberate, calculated, as though it wanted me to feel the anticipation more than the touch itself. And then my leg moved, not by my will, but guided, lifted slowly until my knee bent higher, opening me further to its presence. My breath hitched, a small gasp breaking the silence. I didn't mean to react that way, but the presence seemed to relish it. The mattress dipped harder near my waist, like unseen knees pressing into the sheets, surrounding me. I whispered, barely audible, "Please." I didn't even know what I was begging for, an end or more. The presence answered not with words, but with action. My shirt hem shifted, tugged upward by nothing I could see, until the night air cooled the skin across my ribs. The sensation of exposure made me tremble. Fingers, cool at first, then warming, glided across that bare skin, leaving trails of tingling fire in their wake. I bit down on my lip, fighting the sound that rose in my throat. But the more I resisted, the more deliberate the caresses became. My body betrayed me again, arching, leaning into the invisible hold. I hated it. I craved it. Then the voice came, low, close, almost inside my head. Not a full word at first, more like a murmur of possession. But as it lingered near my ear, the sound sharpened into something unmistakable. A single word whispered with absolute certainty. Mine. My chest tightened, my body frozen. And yet, instead of releasing me, the presence stayed, closer than ever, its breath hot against my skin, its invisible grip firm around my hip. The word echoed in my mind, sinking deeper than the touch itself. I thought I'd reached my breaking point, that nothing could feel more suffocating than this moment. But then I realized it wasn't finished. Not yet. The silence in the room was no longer empty. It pulsed, alive, wrapped around me like a second skin. Every breath I took felt stolen, shaky and shallow, as if the presence dictated even the rhythm of my lungs. The weight on the mattress pressed closer. My legs, still bent, trembled as if held in place by something unseen. The caress moved again, slow, measured, sliding from my ribs back down my stomach, pausing deliberately, as if it wanted me to know it controlled the pace. I shuddered, caught between terror and something darker, heavier, that I couldn't name. A breath grazed my cheek, not mine, not human, warm and deliberate, hovering so close that my lips tingled with the anticipation of contact that never came. I turned my head just slightly, unable to resist, my body betraying me once more. But the moment I did, the warmth vanished, only to return at my throat, lingering like a threat or a promise. The voice came again, clearer this time, a whisper that carried no doubt, no hesitation. "You are mine." The words sank deep, rattling through me with a weight that felt inescapable. My chest rose sharply, my breath faltering. I wanted to deny it, to scream that I wasn't, but my body betrayed me yet again. My back arched, my fingers dug into the sheets, and I realized with horror that I didn't just fear the presence, I responded to it. And then the touch stopped. The weight lifted from the bed, the air lightened, and for a heartbeat, I thought it was over. Relief washed through me, until I saw it. At the foot of the bed, in the faint glow from the streetlight outside, the blanket sank. Indentations, deep and undeniable, pressed into the mattress. Knees, resting there, watching. I couldn't move. My eyes locked on that shape, breath frozen in my throat. The indentations didn't vanish. They stayed, steady, deliberate, as if the figure wasn't leaving at all, but waiting. Waiting for the next moment I closed my eyes. The room was silent, but I could still feel it, lingering, claiming a shadow that had decided I was no longer mine to keep. And I know now, once you've been touched like that, you never truly sleep alone again. Have you ever felt something in the dark when you knew no one was there? Share your story in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to Paranormal Sleep for more chilling encounters that blur the line between fear and desire.